Hello, hello. This is Dorothy at the By Dorothy Studios, and we're here today. We're working on our Purple Passion kit. It is a altered file folder Lapbook journal that we're making. That is a mouthful, I know. So today we're working. This video is going to be on creating our bases and how we're going to set those up. So I do have my big swing line paper cutter versus my Tim Holtz because with using the big file folders, I sort of like a more bulkier cutter. So this is the base folder that we painted. And again, on the inside, like I said, I just sort of went around the edges. I just didn't want all of the vanilla coloring to show when we come through. Now, I'm going to do a couple things to this and then we'll move on to the other folder. This one we're not doing a lot to. I happen to, when I grabbed my folder, I grabbed and used the middle one, and I meant to get a side one, which is fine. It's no big deal. So if you have a side one, you can leave the side ones there because, we're going to be folding this in half. So if it's on this side, you're going to have a tab out here or a tab back here. That's fine. That works either way because if it's on this side, it's going to be here. If it's on this side, then it's going to be on your back. It's going to be fine. But I actually grabbed the one that was in the middle, and I don't really like how that's sticking up in the middle. So I'm actually going to cut this tab off. And to do that, I'm just simply going to line up the edges of my file folder. That's that. And then I'm just very lightly going to cut that off. Just because I don't like, that the way that it looks once you fold it in half. So I'll set this aside for a moment. So we have our file folder. So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to, I'm not folding it yet. I'm just going to, I guess I can go ahead and fold it. It's fine. And I'm just going to crease it down with my finger. Yes, you could use a bone folder. I'm not going to because that crease is going to go pretty permanent. And I don't really necessarily want it completely smashed because, we've got our journal and stuff that's going to be in here. So that's going to be what the front looks like. There's the back. And yeah, I know this looks pretty crazy right now, but once we get everything on there, the decorations and all that, it will completely look different. This will be the inside, which again, we're going to be covering. So I just wanted a nice basis. You honestly, on the inside, could probably get by with just painting around the edges and then down the center. But to me, when you're sitting there, it's just easier to do it all. Okay, so for tomorrow, what I will do to prep this is I will sew down the center line. And I'm just going to put it in my sewing machine and sew this together. Then I'm going to, and this I'll do with a straight stitch. Then I'm going to take a straight stitch and I'm going to go in about 1/4 of an inch on the edge. You could do 1/8 of an inch. I sort of like going in 1/4 of an inch. I just like sort of the border there. And I'm going to run 1/4 inch down this, all the way down, 1/4 inch across, and again, 1/4 inch up this side. So we'll have it sewn in the middle here and here. Well, no, wait a minute. Because I wanted to do this differently. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to sew down the center. Then on this side, the right-hand side, which is going to be our front. I forgot I wanted to do the pockets differently on this one. We're going to sew down the center. And on the front, I'm going to sew 1/4 inch across and 1/4 inch up this side. This is going to create, that's going to turn this top part into a pocket where we can put a tag or a large tag back there. So again, down the middle, to the right, back up the side with 1/4 inch. The back, after I get that finished, I'm going to pull it out of my sewing machine and I'm going to sew from 1/4 inch from right here. And I'm just going to go straight across. That's just what I want to do. I'm going to go straight across. And I'm not going to care a whole lot if this tab is usable right there. That's just not something I'm really worried about. Although if you want to create a pocket and you want to use this, which is what we could do, we've sewed down the middle. We could do a 1/4 inch across, then come up here about 3 inches, 3 to 3.5, 4 inches even. Sew all the way across again. And then up this side. So I'm going to grab my pencil so that I don't forget, because, you know, let me grab a pencil that's got some lead in it, because this one is out of lead. Give me a second, guys. Aha. Okay. So this one, I'm just going to sew over this. So I'm going to do the middle line. And so I'm going to do the middle line. I'm going to do across this 1/4 inch. And again, I'm going to do across the 1/4 inch here. And this 1/4 inch down at the bottom, you technically don't have to do that because we already have the seam here. I do the 1/4 inch just for appearance. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to go a 1/4 inch in roughly, and I'm going to do this down through here. Then I'm going to come over here. I've got my 1/4 inch marked here, and I'm going to come up to about right wherever whatever this one is. And you can use a ruler, draw your line in, and actually, you know, create a whole line if you want. Okay, now we've got this sewed up, this line here. So I'm going to come over here, right here, and I'm going to come in my 1/4 inch, and I'm going to sew up here. So it's going to be down here, across here, up this side, across, and then up this. So in essence, this is going to be a large pocket. And if you wanted more pockets, you most certainly can just sew across here and create a pocket down here and create 2 top pockets. That's up to you. But I want one big pocket because I want to do a large tag. Then we're going to have a side pocket. So this will create a pocket here. Then with this sewed here and here, that will create a pocket here. So that's how I'm going to do mine. I will have it sewn for you tomorrow in the next video, so you'll be able to see that. So I'm going to set that to the side. This is what we're going to do. We're done with that for today until it's sewn. So I'm going to pull out my paper cutter again. And this is my other folder that we painted. And again, I wanted it very just sort of plain, nothing fancy. So I'm going to slide it in and cut it on the middle. There we go. So we're actually going to use this for a lot of our flips that we're going to be creating. We're going to be using other paper too because we have all of the cardstock that comes with the kit, but I wanted something for a little bit, you know, of the main parts. Okay, so part of this I want to put in the center of the actual journal that's going in the center as a folder. So I am actually going to, let's make our folder about that large, and I'll tell you this measurement in a minute. So you're going to cut your folder in half, and then you're going to cut one of them at 6 1/4. Okay, and that's going to get folded in half again. Just fold it in half, and I'll round the corners because it already has the one round corner. And this is going to be a pocket. So this is 6 1/4, correct? So I want my pocket to be roughly 2.5 inches. So I need 2.5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that off here. So I'm going to line up and do my 2.5. Do I want it to be 2.5 inches? Hold on. Let me think. Let me pull out my pencil. Okay, I want to measure this and see what this is. Okay, so let's go 3 inches. That's really close. And then I want to add a 1/2 inch for that bottom flap because I want to make sure that I have extra room. Okay. So that will go across there. And with my 1/2 inch here, that will give me the extra room I need on the side. And I'm not going to worry about the center. What I can do here is fold this in half. And I will sew this. I'm actually going to sew this together too instead of gluing it, but I will sew it up through here, and then I'm going to sew across, and then I will fold my flaps under. I'll score them, and see how we've got like 1/4 inch on each side, and we've got a 1/2 inch at the bottom. I will fold all those up and sew through and create our little folder insert that goes in our journal. So that's what we're going to be doing there. So again, this is folder. When you cut your folder in half, you're going to take that whole folder and put it horizontal, and you need one at 6 1/4. And then this is again the width of the folder horizontally, and you're going to cut it at 3 1/2 and then just fold it in half. That's going to create our pockets for our folder. So that part is done. So we have this, and it already has a little tabby at the end. I'm going to cut that little tab off the end because I don't like that. Okay. I'm actually going to keep this, I think, as a belly band. It's about the perfect width. And for the height of our papers, let me grab one of our papers. Okay, let me go ahead and fold this in half. And yes, these are white because I'm going to be backing these with different items. Yeah, see, that's going to be perfect. It's going to give us 1/4 inch of our gap on each end to fold under, so we have a little room under our belly band. So it's not, because I mean, if you put it too tight, you can't fit anything under there. So I like, raising them a little bit. So that will work for that. So that's going to be our belly band. And this is the excess piece. But if you're cutting a separate piece, do it at 2 inches. Mine's a little bit short, but 2 inches is about perfect. So that is that. That belly band is done. That leaves us with this. Okay. And we're going to do a couple different flaps from this. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to put this on 4 inches. Actually, I'm going to go 4 1/2. So I'm going to cut it at 4 1/2. Okay. 4 1/2. Then let's see what size we've got. This is about 11 1/2. So we're going to do, okay, we're going to cut one at 2 1/2. So let's do this at 2 1/2. That'll be a little flat. Okay. And then that's going to leave us with 9. So let's do one at 3 inches. Okay, we'll do one at, no, let's not. Let's go 4 inches. Yeah, 4 inches is good. And that'll leave us at 4, a 5, a 4, and a. So again, you're going to cut your folder at 4 1/2. Then you're going to cut one at 2 1/2, one at 4, and one at 5. It's a little bit more than 5, but close enough. And I will put these measurements in the description box, so you know. Okay, so that gives us 3 flaps that we can use within our folder. And if I need to paint another file folder up to add, that's fine. I just wanted some of this background, and then I have cardstock to use for the other. Now I have this piece, and there's some paint hanging off the end. I'm actually going to fold this in half. And fold it in half. And I'm going to press it. That's going to create sort of like a pocket, a file folder pocket, right? Okay. And I want a little bit, about a 1/2 inch to have a flap. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to measure. And this is at 11.5. So I'm going to take this to 11 inches. And I'm going to cut that off. And these little pieces that I've cut off, I can use at the bottom of like paper snippets or whatever. Okay, so, and again, I'm going to sew this. So when I sew this, I'll actually sew along this edge just for decorative purposes, along here, and then up through here. And that's going to create a little pocket. Then where we cut that edge off over there, that's going to create our 1/2 inch flap to attach to a page. So we'll have this we can attach to a page, and then we have a flappy pocket. So that is what we use our file folders for. Again, I will put the measurements for each one of these. And again, I mean, this is just, we're just cutting it up and scrapping it. So we ended up out of our folder, and you don't have to do it like I'm doing. You could do it however you want. You end up with a folder that's going to go in the center of our journal, a belly band, 1, 2, 3 flaps that we can use, and a floating pocket just out of that file folder. And this is the scraps we have left. But like I said, we're going to use those for a paper snippet. So those are going to get used too. So that is what we are doing with our file folders. And again, remember, we did cut the top off, and we're going to sew this, sew down the middle, over and up. So here and up, and create an upper pocket, a side pocket, and a top pocket for a large journaling card. So that is what we're doing with our file folders. Again, I will put these in the measurements in the description box. And tomorrow we will be working with our envelopes. And then the next day we'll come back and we'll start compiling and putting things together. So I will let you go for today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, all the links are going to be below. The measurements will be below. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.